Alright, here we are. I wanted to do a quick tabletop video for you guys. You may know I don't do many tabletop videos, but I thought for this particular subject that this would be a good time to do one and to get some information out quickly and easily on a topic that I get asked about a lot, which is, Jake, if you had to choose one, would you get the Reiff F4, F5, and F6 or F6? Now I have the Circadia as well, but I didn't bring it out here because I've never been asked about whether or not I would get it as compared to one of these knives because it's in a completely different category of knife. Now, with that being said, really quick, why do I have my knife in here? This is the Exodus Knife and Tool Jackalope, and I just have it in here because, guys, if you like content like this, I do also have my own knife brand. So with that being said, people are like, oh, you shouldn't show off your competitors. And to some people, Reiff might be a competitor of mine. I have American manufactured knives that I believe are in a similar category to Reiff's. However, I don't really believe anybody is my competitor because they're not me. And that's what, that's what it is. So if you like videos like this, check out Exodus Knife and Tool and Beach and Tactical. I hand make rifle slings as well, and I've got some other stuff as well. So, but what the video is about, again, not a competitor, a friend. I really like the guys at Reiff. They've been around for just over 5 years now, and I've always really appreciated their dedication to fit and finish and practical design, no frills, hard use, real user-centric knives. When the F4 first launched their first knife, I had a part to play in just giving them my opinion on these handles. These handles are a big part of what makes a Reiff knife so fantastic. And this knife dropped, and the feedback that I got from a lot of people was, I don't like this knife because it looks weird, because the handle's too big and the blade's too small. And I heard that a lot, and maybe they still hear that, maybe they don't, maybe people have figured it out by now, but the truth is, this F4, I don't think it was designed to be aesthetically a beautiful knife in that way. It was designed to work, and so you get a handle this size in hand with a blade this length. You get a whole lot of control, and this knife is absolutely a joy to use, despite the fact that it does not follow the aesthetic trends that are currently going on in the market, because that is not what Reiff is here about. That's not what they're for. And I wanted to start the video in that way because that's the way that I view the brand. Oh, real quick, because people will ask, this is the Council Tool Camp Carver, and it is probably my favorite hatchet and favorite axe. If I probably had to own one, it might be that one there when it comes to a hatchet. Anyways, I just brought it because I thought it gave a good ambiance, because that's important to people. Now, if you are thinking, oh, and by the way, I am about to restock the Exodus Knife and Tool Light Unto Your Feet bead, Light Unto Your Path bead. Okay, so you might be thinking, why would I be choosing between these knives? We have a 4-inch blade, a 5-inch blade, and a 6-inch blade. These are clearly knives in different categories, intended for different uses, and you should pick one or the other based on its intended use as opposed to cross-shopping them. And the truth is, I do get this question a lot, and I believe the reason is because although we do have a 4, 5, and 6-inch knife here, I don't believe the usage of these knives is that vastly different. Look, the knives are not that different in weight, and they're not that different on your hip. So to a certain degree, which one works best for you is going to be the one that you go with not necessarily which one fits a category better, because in my opinion, you can do some chopping with the F6, but it's not a chopper. A chopper, when you put the ER at the end of a word, it denotes that that tool was intended for that task. Okay, so a chopper is intended to chop. This is not a knife that was designed to chop. This is a knife that's designed to be versatile and do a lot of things, and I have no doubt with the handle that chopping was part of that design language. Just a second. Excuse me, sorry about that. Okay, so I wouldn't say any of these knives are a quote-unquote chopper. And I also wouldn't say that any of these knives are a quote-unquote carver. You're going to get the most control, most likely. You really feel like you get a lot of control with the F4. Again, with the blade to handle ratio there, it just gives you a lot of leverage. But what I'm trying to say here is besides batoning and the size of what I'm batoning, and there's ways to get around that particular issue, there's not a lot of tasks that I could get done with the F4 that I couldn't do with the F6, and there's not a lot of tasks that I can do with the F6 that I couldn't do with the F4 with a little creativity. So it's going to come more down to preference. And so just to get that out of the way and to answer the question, Jake, if you had to choose one, which would you choose? Well, first off, let me say that I would probably choose one either with a micarta handle, because I do prefer micarta to G10 generally speaking. I like it. I feel like it's a little more comfortable in hand to some tiny degree. It's just a preference thing. Or I might choose orange G10, because orange G10 is incredibly practical and looks super duper cool. And that might be a larger part of this equation for me than which knife I choose, but I'd probably go with micarta. And I would probably choose, if I had to pick one, the F5. Oh, well, that's an easy answer, Jake. That's a cop-out answer, because you're just splitting the difference between the 4 and the 5 and picking the one in the middle. That's basic psychology. Not necessarily. I love the Liaoku-inspired design of the F6. I love the beefy design with the slight drop point of the 4. But what I really like about the 5, I do prefer the fact that we have a slightly higher grind on the 5. Now, none of these knives that are shown here are slicers. All right, they are not like my Creeley Mako has a behind the edge thickness of like 12 thou or something like that, incredibly thin, and I couldn't use that knife for the things that I would choose these knives to do. I'm going to be using these blades here. They're also not overbuilt, however. I would like to point out they're not overbuilt to the point where I can't use them for some finer stuff, or I get frustrated with the amount of friction that is caused by doing literally anything. They're somewhere in between, with a bit of bias, in my opinion, towards being a little bit beefy for survival and bushcraft tasks. So with that being said, with a little bit beefier behind the edge thickness, this higher grind, I enjoy using this F5 just a little bit more than either of the others. And I think that's because of this higher grind. And I do like the little bit of a finer tip as well. So with that being said, I do believe that I would choose the F5 over the F4 or the F6 if I had to pick one. However, if I found myself in a situation where I was issued one of these knives, I would not have a problem with any of them. I absolutely love each of these knives, which is probably apparent by the fact that I own them, right? But I am in a position of knife wealth or addiction, if you will. And I don't necessarily do videos like this for addicts like myself. The average person is wanting just a couple of knives. They want to know, look, I don't want to own all three. If I have to buy one of these, which would I buy? Or if I'm only going to ever buy one of these, which would I buy? And for that average person who's not insane like I am, the 5 is the one I would go with. And part of that is my hand speaking. I enjoy using it the most. It's by a small degree. It's, again, preference, but I enjoy using it the most. And so when I tell you that I think it's because because of the grind height, what I'm doing is I'm trying to make sense of the input that I have gotten from my hand in use and translate that into something that I can tell you guys. Otherwise, look, the handles are all beautiful. They're all beautifully contoured. We do have some differences in handle contours and some slight manufacturing differences between generation of knives here. But yeah. And what would I use the Reiff F5 for? I would go to this blade in a heartbeat without any hesitation as a primary belt knife in the woods, as a primary survival knife, as a primary bushcraft knife, as a primary combat knife. I would have been far better suited to carrying this blade in combat in Afghanistan than I would have been the knife that I did carry. You know, the only thing that I would not choose this knife for is this would not be my choice for my primary skinning or game processing knife. When it comes to bushcraft, it would not be my choice if I ever wanted to make really intricate carvings that are beautiful, which I never do. I don't make anything beautiful in the woods. My buddy Jose Amoedo from season 2 of Alone, that guy sits there and he not only makes bushcraft projects, but then he makes them beautiful. I don't have the skill for it, even if I wasn't in a bushcraft setting. So I'm not sitting here looking at, I wouldn't pick this as my fine carving blade. I'm not probably going to carve anything. But this is basically a fantastic everything else blade. That's not edge damage. That's a couple pieces of wood on the edge. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. I know a lot of my subscribers and regular viewers are knife addicts like myself, and they can also probably give you input on which of these was their favorite and why. So if I did not share the opinion effectively in this video, somebody in the comment section might have. Go down there, check it out. Let me know what you think. I try and reply to most comments anyways. And I want to say congratulations to Reiff for hitting their 5-year mark here recently. And they have been able to exist over the last 5 years because their dedication to a quality product and to the user and to the user's experience. They are having they're making a fantastic product. Even though it's more expensive than your run-to-the-mill box store knives, the people who buy these knives and use them, I believe, see the value and come back as repeat customers as a testament to the value of what you are getting there. So congratulations to the team at Reiff Knives. And that's all I've got there. Man, I'm just a fan. And I'm excited to see where they go from here. I'm excited to see the next 5 years and the next 15 years, etc. And I'm excited to hear what you think. So, talk to you there. And I hope that you have a blessed day. And if you would like to support the channel, check out the description box below. I'll have links to where you can do that. And at the top of the description box below will be a link to Reiff. And you can... these knives often sell really quickly. If you want to stay up to date on these knives, what I would suggest that you do is go to their website and join their subscription list and make sure that their emails do not go to your spam folder so that when these knives drop, you won't miss it. Anyways, that's all I've got. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you have a blessed day.